Hello everybody and welcome aboard the tour of the Norwegian Escape. We are going to start this tour out on deck 6 because the first 5 are just kind of for crew and cabins. On the forward part of deck 6 you're going to find staircases and a bank of elevators, and if you go on around the corner you'll find what's called the Supper Club. Now the Supper Club offers like a cabaret style type of dining and entertainment. It's a 3-course dinner show basically is what it is, but at the time it was closed when I went in here, but I'm going to take a little peep and let you see in here anyway. As you continue down the hallway on deck 6, you'll come into the atrium there in the center on the left-hand side. There's where they'll do a lot of shows. You'll play a lot of games. There's a lot that goes on in there, live music and stuff like that. There's a lot of time we spent in this part of the ship. If you go around to the right here, you're going to also find a lot of places where you'll get like the shore excursions. To the left of that, you have like the internet cafe. You also have places for guest services. There's often a long line here, so if you get there early, you might get your problems taken care of quickly, but we didn't have any, and the lines don't really look too bad this time of day. As you continue down this way past guest services, you're going to run into the atrium bar. There's so many bars on this ship, but if you have time, stop and check them all out. They're all kind of known and have their own specialty drinks, but that's the atrium bar in the atrium. Continuing on around to the other side of the ship, you're going to come across the Atrium Cafe. Now just know, although there are a lot of free food and drinks offered on this ship, this is not one of them. You will pay for these desserts, but look at some of that stuff in there. Doesn't that look just delicious? Continuing on down the hall toward midship, you find a lot of art. So it's kind of a little art gallery here, and these paintings do change throughout the trip, so every time you come through here you may see something just a little bit different. As you continue on midship here, you'll find a beautiful chandelier, and as the atrium is, this is also open to the deck above, but if you continue on past some of this art, you'll find the Headliners Comedy Club. Now this comedy club does have limited seating, and we were unable to see a show in here just because of the crowd, so if you want to see a show, make sure you get there early. Continuing across to the opposite side of the ship, you're going to come to a restaurant called Le Bistro. This is kind of an upscale French specialty restaurant. You'll get escargot, things like that, and there is an upcharge for this, so just be prepared to pay a little extra if you want to eat in here. And just down from Le Bistro is you're going to run into, and I'm absolutely going to say this wrong, but teppanyaki, which is a Japanese hibachi style type of restaurant. Now, when I came by here, they were super nice, but guys, they were holding like a painting class in here. They use the space for more than just food when they're not open. So, but I would have loved to have come in here and seen them flipping some of that stuff around on those grills. But they were not serving food when I was there. So up until now, all the options we've seen for food or dining has all had an upcharge. Well, that changes here when you get to the mixed bar. On this part of the ship, to the left and right of that bar are 2 free restaurants that you can go into. We're going to go into the Saver first here. There's not much different between these restaurants other than the layout is a little different, but the food is always the same. As a matter of fact, a lot of the food that you get in here, you can also get upstairs on the buffet. So there's not a lot of difference whether you're here or on the buffet. It's kind of the same kind of foods. It's just kind of the presentation and how it's brought to you is what you're getting at a sit-down dinner like this. And as we continue on back out here, we're once again going to walk past the mixed bar, which a lot of times we would sit down here and have like a pre-drink before our meal or after our meal. And we'll work our way to the other side of the ship. And as I said earlier, as we enter the Taste restaurant on the opposite side, the menus are exactly the same. But we'll take a walk around in here and you can see some of the differences between the 2 restaurants. Now, we only tried out each of these restaurants one time because we wanted to kind of try different places and see what the ship had to offer. But both of them had these amazing views. We never got seated by the windows, which kind of made me sad, but I did notice this one does have a downstairs. Now, I don't know if the other one did or not. I'm just not sure. I didn't notice it. As you continue on down toward the back of the ship, past the elevator banks and again another staircase, there was like a memorial set up here, and I'm not sure if it's always here or if it was something they were doing special because I can't find it on any deck plans to research it at all. But it was kind of a neat place to come through. It was called Honor and Remember, and it just had some plaques and things remembering those who served. Okay, now we're going to go up one deck, 7 aft. And back here in this part of the ship, you also have the stairwell and a bank of elevators. But if you continue on back, you're going to come to the Manhattan room. And the Manhattan room looks very elegant, and it is free. It is free to dine in here, but they do ask that you wear slacks. They try to keep it kind of business casual or casual looking. No shorts are allowed in here. This is a much bigger dining room than the two dining rooms we just looked at down on deck 6, and it does have that more fancy feel. I don't know what it was about it, but I did feel it was just a little more fancy in here. But it did have the same menu options, so it wasn't a big menu change compared to the other places to eat. Normally they do have a live music in here. It's kind of a softer music, something you can listen to while you're enjoying your dinner. And toward the aft part, the very back part of this dining room, there's an amazing view of the ocean back there if you get lucky enough to have one of those seats toward the back. But just look at the beauty of that room. It's just gorgeous. So as we continue on down past the bank of elevators, we're going to come to almost midship now, not quite, but this is where they have the casino. All kinds of table games, slot machines. There's a whole bunch of slot machines and always something going on. And right to the left there is the Skyline Bar. Now, if you can get up to the actual bar part where you see them sitting up there, there's game machines built right into the bar, so you can play while you're having your favorite drink. And of course, once again, there's a live stage or a live band usually playing in here during the peak times of the casino. So even as we leave Skyline Bar and go down the hallway, you can see it's just lined with slot machines as well. Now, guys, if smoke bothers you, you might want to stay clear of some of this area, because some areas are allowed to smoke in here. There are designated non-smoking areas, but a lot of the casino area is allowed to be smoked in. And here's a view looking down at that comedy club and bistro area that we were at earlier in the video. As we continue our way forward on the ship, we're going to come to O'Sheehan's neighborhood bar and grill area. This whole area up here, this bar, as well as the restaurant to the right, and all these tables and chairs you see around that atrium that looks down are all part of this O'Sheehan's. Now, we ate inside of here one time, but most of the time we took our meal out around this balcony area so we could watch the show down below. And it's kind of a pub style. You can get wings and like pretzel bites, things like that, fries, loaded fries, and of course beer and drinks. It's just your local neighborhood pub type feel atmosphere with games on the other side here. Now, guys, this ship does have a full arcade, which we'll get to later. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. We'll go through there. But there's plenty of games to play right here. I mean, there's pinball, there's arcade games, there's also like basketball shoot, air hockey, there's skee ball, and one of my favorites, guys, on the left-hand side is kind of a miniature. It's not quite full size, but it is a bowling alley. There's 2-lane bowling alley that you can play. It's kind of fun. We played that several times. We had a pretty good time with it. Now, once you get to the front part of the ship on the Escape is the Escape Theater. And guys, this theater is pretty awesome. Me and my wife spent a lot of time in this theater. The shows are free. It's a little smaller than what it is on some other ships. But as you can see, it's very comfortable in here. So, of course, there is a bar right there to the left as you come in. And we had the drink package, so we usually had a drink every time we would come in here to watch a show. Now, we never had trouble finding a seat when we were here. It never filled up to capacity, but the shows were amazing, and sometimes they had that show at different times. They play bingo in here, they have the shows in here, they have several events that happen in here, but we never had trouble getting a seat, and some of these shows were just amazing. So as we leave the theater area, we're going to go ahead and take a quick step out here on the deck. Up forward of the ship here, the front part of the ship. Obviously, look at that blue water. Oh, I miss that so much, but it's so beautiful up here if you just want to step out for a minute and grab those ocean waves and that cool breeze. But on down to the left-hand side here, which we're going to take a walk in just a second, is the shuffleboard court. And there's always somebody out here playing, it seems like. Our room was right directly above that and on the next deck up, and we were watching people play that at all times of the day. Before we continue up to deck 8, I wanted to finish off what the outside part of deck 7 here was with the lifeboats. And there's the game room we just passed earlier, but the lifeboats are on this deck as well. So when you have your lifeboat drills, this is where you'll come and get that done when you first get on ship. All right, guys, deck 8 forward on this ship. We've got a lot going on up here. There's a place called the Waterfront, which I want to take you. Basically, you walk around the entire outside of the ship. But before we get there, we want to get to a little restaurant or a little bar. It's called District Brew House. This place is so cool on the inside, guys. Wait till you see it. It's one of my favorite places that we hung out at. Now, this is an adults-only area of the ship, or a bar of the ship, but as you can see right now, it's closed. So we were here and just kind of doing a walk around, and we did notice a lot of people hanging out in here just for the views. There's some amazing leather seats. The bar is, of course, beautiful, and it has about any drink you could want right there. And there's some games on the other side, but just the feel in here, the atmosphere was just amazing. But look at those comfortable leather chairs right up against that window and the open top. It gave an awesome feeling, even when they weren't open. I spent a lot of time just kind of hanging out in here. Now, this game, unfortunately, I did not play, but it does look like maybe a drinking game, some kind of a game that might make you feel really happy by the end of it. I'm not sure. If anybody knows what that is, let me know. Now, before we head on out to the waterfront, I wanted to stop by a place called the Food Republic. We did not eat here because there is an upcharge for this, but I wanted to do a quick walkthrough and let you guys kind of see what it's all about. Now, from what I understand, it's kind of a Asian, Latin, fusion type of cuisine. It is also served family style, so it's really, really good for sharing. Now, as I said, there was an upcharge, so we did not try any of the food in here. We did not eat in here any of the evenings we were on board, but it looks intriguing. So if any of you have tried it, let me know in the comments below. What'd you think? Did you enjoy it? Okay, as we make our way out into the waterfront, guys, I want you to know this is one of my favorite spots of the ship. You can take your time and walk around the outside of the ship on this deck, and there's every bar or place to dine that we come across on the outside is also available on the interior of the ship. But I like the fresh air. I like to be outside. I'm not so much of a in the air conditioning kind of guy. Okay, one of the first places we're going to come across is a place called the Pour House. Now, this place does have beer on tap and it does have cocktails, but it's more if you'd like a whiskey kind of straight or maybe a scotch that's neat. This is a place to stop and get that. They keep all kinds of that stuff here, and if you like that kind of drink, you'll enjoy this place for sure. And right next to the Pour House is the Humidor, and this place is a cigar lounge, guys. So you can go in here, get the drink you just got over there at the Pour House, your straight bourbon or whiskey or scotch, whatever you like. Come over here and get a really fine cigar, sit down, watch the game, relax a little bit. All leather seats in here. And I don't know if you like cigars or not, guys, but I do, and it smelled amazing in here. Next, we're going to come up to the Biamo, which is a fresh seafood type of dining area. They do have a chic dining room on the inside here, but you can also sit out here on the deck and look at that amazing view while you eat. And guys, you don't have to come to this deck to eat. There are so many places like this just to sit around and kind of lounge and enjoy the breeze up on this deck. So again, don't think you just have to come up here and grab something to eat. This is a great place to relax as well. And this one of my wife's favorite places, guys, is for gelato. If you like gelato, this is a place to stop. There's a vast menu. There's pineapple, coconut, raspberry, depending on what they're having for that day. And also for those of you that like Starbucks, this is a Starbucks stop. So don't forget to come by here in the morning if that's something you want and grab your cup of coffee. Maderno is a Brazilian steakhouse. Now, once again, there is an upcharge for this, but they do have some amazing food, I'm told. They have salads, some imported cheeses, and they bring the meat right to your table, and they carve it for you there, and they serve it up right at your table. Now, guys, as we continue around to the back part of the ship, one of my favorite parts of the ship is the back part of the aft part of the ship. As you can see, this goes all the way around, but stop for a minute and take a look. This is one of the very few places on the ship you can look down at the wake behind the ship and have an unobstructed view of that amazing, beautiful ocean. Man, I wish I was back here again. I miss this place. So as we come around to the other side of the ship, we're going to run into Cagney's Steakhouse, which is like an all-American type of steakhouse. They're going to have a black Angus beef, and they're also going to serve your normal wine and seafood type of a menu. Now, there are signs posted all around the waterfront, so if you get lost and aren't sure where something's at, just kind of do a quick look up. And usually those signs are placed just before the lounge areas, so if you're lost, take a look up. Next, we run across the Cellars, which is exactly what you think it is. It's a wine bar. You can come in and try Merlot or some of your favorites, and it's also an educational bar. So if you'd like to learn more about wine, this is the place to go. La Susina is your Italian style type of dining. They also have gelatos in here as well. And that's going to bring us back where we started at the brew house. Now, guys, the waterfront is a quarter-mile promenade deck type oceanfront walk with all those restaurants out there. But like I said, on the inside of here, you're going to run into a lot of the same places we just saw on the outside. It just has the interior dining instead of the waterfront dining. Sid Norman's Pour House is kind of a unique experience, guys. It has their own type of cocktails in here that you can order, but it takes you back to an earlier time. It's a very interactive type of rock and roll experience that takes you back to rock and roll's beginnings. Kind of a show. At the same time, you're having some amazing rock and roll music with some pretty unique drinks in this place. If you get a chance, come in and give it a try. Tobacco Road is Miami's oldest and most legendary bar, and the Norwegian Escape has tried to recreate that experience here, guys. There's some original photos on the walls, and kind of shows you how it got started in Miami and some of the history. And even though it has kind of an amazing history, if you want to take the time to learn about it, it's just a kind of a cool place to come and hang out. It's very relaxing, some good music, and it's again right next to that humidor where we were at earlier. So if you want to go in there and have a cigar, you're not far from it. And as we step back out in the hallway here, you're going to see that familiar chandelier you all know by now, looking down upon the casino and, of course, down there on the Comedy Club where we started this tour a while back. Just a gorgeous ship, don't you think? And this is the interior view of the Cellars that we were at earlier when we were out walking on the waterfront. In this part of the ship, you're also going to find a lot of that shopping experience that you're looking for, whether it's jewelry or even just a can of Pringles late on a Friday night. This is kind of the part of the ship where you would come to find those things you're looking for. Now, guys, if this is something that interests you, please keep an eye on your itinerary or on your ship's programs, because a lot of these shops will run specials at certain times of the day, certain days of the weeks, and give away free items just to try to get you into their stores and obviously purchase some things. So if this interests you, keep an eye on those programs. Maybe you can grab yourself a free bracelet or something like that, or just come down and browse. Maybe you'll get a good buy on some jewelry. Now, as I said, this part of the ship has a lot for everybody. There's jewelry that's so much money that make your heart skip a beat, and then there's also the 3 for $10 T-shirts that are along there. This is also the part of the ship where you're going to come and get those pictures that are taken during dinners or when you're getting on and off the ship. Anywhere you see a photography going on, you can kind of come to this part of the ship and find your pictures and see if you want to purchase any of those that were taken of you. And just another piece of advice, those of you that cruise already know this, but when you're at port, a lot of these shops are closed. They want you to go onto the islands or wherever you're at and spend your money there. But once you're out to sea, you can kind of come in here and buy a lot of this stuff tax-free or duty-free. And just know, if you're buying alcohol, though, you're going to have to leave it here until you leave on disembarkation day. They do not allow you to take your alcohol back to your room. But you can get some tax-free and duty-free alcohol here at a pretty good price if that's your thing. Now, this is going to sound kind of silly, guys, but sometimes you miss that taste of home. They don't serve some of this stuff like Pringles at your dining table, so sometimes you just miss that familiar taste of home. So this is a place you can come and get that as well. And now that we are in the aft part of the ship, once again, I kind of like to take you inside and show you the interior part of the Cagney Steakhouse and the Moderno restaurants. It just looks different from the inside than it does on the outside, and it's a pretty classy place. Now, like I said, there is an upcharge for these, so just be prepared for that when you come to this area. The bar that serves both restaurants is called the Prime Meridian Bar, and you got Cagney's to the right, and you have Moderno to the left, and that's kind of the central location of these two restaurants. So all of your drinks will come from this bar if you happen to order a cocktail with dinner. And just like when we were outside, Cagney's has that American steakhouse type of feel. If that's something you're looking for while on this trip, guys, please stop by here. Give it a try. In Moderno, just like Cagney's, you can either eat inside or outside on that waterfront that we were on earlier. But either way, both of these restaurants look amazing. And if you get a chance, these seem like your kind of foods, stop by, give them a try, and let me know what you think of them. I didn't get a chance to try either one, so I would love to hear some feedback on these restaurants. Either way, the views and the atmosphere of both of these restaurants just look amazing to me. One last place I want to catch on this deck is the bakery. Now, they were closed when I was here, but they have like cupcakes and chocolates and things like that. And guys, if you miss them, don't worry. If they happen to be closed like this, you can still buy everything you need up at deck 6 at the atrium. Now, guys, decks 9 through 15 are all staterooms and cabins, so there's nothing really to see there. So we're going to jump on up to deck 16 aft, and that's where we're going to find the Garden Cafe. Now, the Garden Cafe is where we're going to go to do our buffet style type of eating. Now, one thing I will say about the Norwegian ships that I like far better than, like, let's say Carnival or something like that, some of those others, the buffet style eating is kind of broken down into sections. It's not just one long buffet where you got to wait in a line past the fruit and the veggies to get to the chocolate cake. So everything on this ship kind of has a place. So if you want that chocolate brownie, you're not going to be waiting in a long line of people in front of you wanting nothing but salad. So just jump into the dessert part of the line and get that dessert you want. Or if you just want salad, let's go the other way. Just step into the salad bar line and pick that up and skip the desserts altogether. Either way, the lines are much shorter because it's kind of designated to what you're looking for. Now, someone like me, I'm ashamed to say, when I'm on a cruise, I like the burgers, I like the hot dogs, I like the fries, I like the pizza. So all that stuff that's kind of bad for you is the lines that I stand in. But I will give you a pointer. On the other side of the ship, a lot of the food is the exact same as it's on this side of the ship. So if you find the lines to be long, just kind of take a walk around the other side of the ship. I think you'll find the lines will be bearable and you can get your food there. Now, guys, obviously we were up here at dinner time, hot dogs, pizza, things like that, burgers, but you can come up here for breakfast as well as dinner in the evenings. And what I have found, like I said earlier in the video, a lot of the same foods that they're serving in the dining rooms, they're also serving up here on these buffets. So if you want a more casual approach to dinner or breakfast or even lunch, just come up here and grab you a quick bite, sit down over by one of the tables by a window with an amazing ocean view and enjoy your food here. And if you're looking more for that dining experience, having somebody bring your food to you and wait on you, maybe you should try the dining rooms, one of the several dining rooms that we pointed out earlier. But there's plenty of room up here, plenty of spaces to sit and eat. So if a more casual experience is what you're looking for, this is probably where you'll want to come. Okay, as we exit the Garden Cafe, we're going to come outside where you'll see some lounge sections on the left, and you're also going to see the kids' water park section here on the right. Now, just so you know, there's no need to bring the towels out of your room. They have towels in these areas available to you, but this is definitely the kids' area, kind of the kids' aqua park area, the kids' pool. So if you have little ones, this is kind of the section you're going to want to bring them to. Now, they do have lifeguards on duty here, but just know it can get busy during certain parts of the day. So just be aware that guy is a hard-working guy up there. As we continue on, there's the main sun deck and then the adults-only pool. Now, guys, they did have a little trouble. I was there keeping kids out because obviously rules sometimes don't apply to some people, but they did a great job of kind of moving those kids on to the kids area. Also in this area, you're going to find a Waves bar, so you can get your cocktail right there while you're sitting or swimming in the pool. Make sure you kind of look at some of the nooks and crannies of the ship. They tucked some of these fun games back here, like this ping pong table was back here protected by the wind, so you can play ping pong while you're on board the ship. Okay, let's head inside on deck 16 now and make our way down to the Pulse Fitness Center. There's a barbershop in here, a hair salon, there's a spa area, and we're going to kind of touch base and see all those places. Now just know the barbershop obviously and the spa area as well as the hair salon, they all have an upcharge. So just be aware of that when you come into this area. But the fitness center here is free, and it has aerobic as well as free weights that you can work out on while you're here. Just past the fitness center, you're going to walk into the main lobby of the spa area as well as the barbershop area. So you can stop in here or make an appointment to have your hair cut or to enjoy the spa while you're here. Now just know I didn't partake in any of the salon or the spa services, but we're going to do a quick tour back here anyway and kind of give you an idea what the facilities have to offer. This is the thermal suite, which offers complimentary robes. You have lounge chairs in here as well as spas and hot tubs. The view is pretty fantastic as well as you make your way around to the showers and some of the steam rooms and hot rooms. A little further down on this area, you're going to find the sauna, which many of you are familiar with, except this one has a pretty spectacular view out that window. And if you turn around, you're going to find what I thought was pretty fun. It's called the snow room, and we're going to work our way inside of there right now. Now, I didn't stay in here long, guys. Obviously, these girls were a little bit embarrassed with me filming in there. They did say it was okay to use them on camera, so I went ahead and did that. But I got out there and let them have some privacy. But what a neat place, man! It's like you could actually make snowballs in there. It's pretty neat. There was a couple more rooms outside the snow room, guys, but I was afraid me with the camera was maybe making some people uncomfortable. So I decided to go ahead and move on out and see what the rest of the ship had to offer. But maybe next time I'm going to spend the extra money and spend a little time in this area. It looked like a good time. Next, we're going to end up on 17 forward of the ship, and this is where we're going to find the Haven. This part of the ship they call it a ship within a ship, guys. It's an exclusive key card access only part of the ship, which I didn't pay the extra money, and I think it's quite a bump to get in there, so I'm not going to be able to show you what's behind those doors. However, I can take you through these doors as we continue on out to deck 17. Now, although this part of the deck is shaded, this is called the sun deck, and I think right here you're going to be able to tell why. You can see everybody likes to lay out here, get a full view of that sun, not much shade up here, and right to the left there, down in this part, is where you overlook down into the pool area. Now, guys, as you can see, especially on sea days, these places do get rather busy up here. So try to get up as early as you can, maybe get the seat you want, and grab yourself a couple drinks because they will fill up quick. Be prepared to stand in line. The lines for these bars are huge up here, guys, so just kind of be ready for that when you come here. Now, as we head more aft of the ship on deck 17, this is the part of the ship we're going to run into the jogging track. Now, guys, 8 laps around this, approximately 8 laps. Is a mile, but as you can see, it's kind of crowded up here to be running. So there's some shade up here, and people still put the loungers out here. So if it's too crowded for you, alternately you can go down to deck 8. A lot of people do that just because it's a lot wider, more space down there to run around. You also get a good shot at that smokestack, and right here is the stairs that go up to deck 18. We'll check that out of here in just a little bit, but first I want to run back here and show you the American Diner. Now, this restaurant is a 50s style kind of American diner type feel. We ate up here a couple times. The lines sometimes were long, but they really move pretty quick. They get you in there and kind of get you seated. Now, guys, this was amazing. Right here to the right-hand side, you can come up here and get handmade or homemade right on the spot milkshakes, and I'm telling you, they are amazing. Now, there is an upcharge for the milkshakes, some of those specialty drinks, but all this food you're seeing right here is complimentary. There's hamburgers and hot dogs. There's sausages. Oh, and look at that. It's worth it. I think we paid like $8 for that, but it was amazing. My wife had the strawberry, I had the chocolate, and there is no complaints here. They were absolutely amazing. Now, as we continue on to the back of the ship here, guys, you're going to run into a place called Spice H2O. And as you can see, this place is also extremely crowded, but it does have a bar up here where you can kind of come up and get your cocktails, get your beer, get your drinks, things like that. And they do have some specialty drinks that they only make here, so you have to ask about that to see what they're doing for that day. Now, H2O, especially during the day, is adults only. You got to be 18 years or older to get up in here, but there isn't any kind of pool or any area like that. There is a water feature, which I'm going to show you right here as you walk through. It's not real deep. It's maybe ankle deep, but it's a nice place to come over and cool off as you're setting out on these decks, because it does get rather warm. It's nice to at least have a water feature you can walk through. And this was kind of cool. I mean, it's made to look like a cave, but I walked through here several times, and it's kind of fun, and it does the job. It cools you off for sure. Also located on this part of the ship is we're going to find the video arcade. Now, the games in here do cost money, and there is a lot of them, so you can spend some money in here really quick. The cruise does offer a package deal where you can kind of come in here and buy a pass where it gets you so much time or so many plays on these games, and I would check that out when you're on your sailing, because that does change from time to time. Now, I'm not really a germaphobe, guys, but we did bring wet wipes or sanitizer wipes when we were in here, because it seems like so many of these games are touched by so many people. We just kind of wanted to give them a quick wipe down before we played them, just in case. We really didn't want to get sick on our vacation. But as you can see, there are a ton of these games in here, so if you want to spend a little time away from the casino on a sea day and something fun to do, maybe you could stop by here and play some of these games. That's what we did. Now we're going to do a quick jump up to deck 18 that we talked about earlier, and this is where you're going to find a lot of the games that aren't electronic. So there's like a big chess set here, and that's a really lot of fun to play if you guys know how to play chess. We've played a couple games on there. It's just different. There's also this area here where you roll a ball down. I really don't know what that game is. If you guys know, please tell me in the comments below. I'd like to know what that game was called. You will also find the ropes course up here, and as you can see, it takes up most of this deck. It's also over the putt-putt course there, but for some reason, it wasn't running today. I don't know if it was winds. I don't know if it was lack of participation. I really don't know what it was, but they harness you up, and you can see those people up there walking those beams and going out over the water. It was kind of neat. Now this putt-putt course here is not challenging by any means. It's kind of a small course, but it's never really that busy. So if you want to jump in here and check it out, it can be a lot of fun. Now, since we're right here, we're going to go ahead and jump up to deck 19, or the sun deck. This is where you're going to find the basketball complex, or the sports complex. This is where they got a net all the way around. This is a full-size basketball court up here, so you can jump in here and shoot some hoops if that's something you'd like to do. And if you want a less crowded place to lay out, the sun deck is it. As you can see, there's some chairs up here, some loungers that you can lay out. But I will say you're a little bit far from any kind of drink or water feature. The closest is Spice H2O, which you overlook right there. Next, we're going to make a quick jump all the way to the front of the ship on deck 19, guys. So up here, you're going to find some water features, a little bit of mister there, which is nice when it's hot, and some more sun lounging area. Now, the bar up here is also extremely busy most of the time, so you'll wait in lines for a while there. There's 2 hot tubs. There's one here, and then there's one more forward, which we'll run into here in just a second. Now, they do have all this glass up here that keeps that wind kind of off of you, and I thought, man, I'm not going to find anywhere to set up here, but if you work your way up toward the other hot tub, I don't know if it's because it's further away from the bar, but there seemed to be a lot of seating in this area. Now, we are about as high as we can go on this ship, but we're going to work our way up to deck 20, just like on the back part of the ship where they had the sports center. Up here, we just got a big area to lay out in the sun. There's no water features. There's nothing like that. Plenty of glass to keep the wind off of you, but another big sun deck lounge up here. And guys, this was never busy. And if you go over here, you can kind of take a peep in the haven. This is that secret area that you got to have that card key to get into. It looks to me like it's just a much nicer area. A lot of the same stuff that we have out here, the hot tubs and things like that, the misters, the showers, but it looks like the seating is just so much nicer. If any of you watching this video have ever stayed in the haven or used the haven, let me know in the comments below. Was it worth the upgrade? I mean, come on, they got a bed down there. Guys, one more thing I wanted to touch on while we're walking here down one of these halls. Nobody ever shows the inside of the ship. Like, what does it look like going to your room, or what does your stateroom look like? So I just wanted to kind of do a quick walk through the hall here and let you know that if you'd like, I did a full room tour, guys. We stayed in room 10738, and I did a full tour of that. If you just look above here, you can check that out now. Anyway, that ought to about do it, and I appreciate you coming along, guys. I hope you found something interesting and that's helpful on this video, and I hope you have an amazing time on your trip. Again, thanks. I appreciate you coming along. Have a good one.